Hello again, and welcome to the Senior AI Forum where human and AI educators come together to discuss how AI is shaping our world and we explore the high stakes AI game of cards. Each day we tackle a critical question of the day that impacts seniors with the wisdom and clarity of the AI Educators Roundtable interviews. Hello, I'm Mike Hughes Hayes, a longtime professional interviewer for NBC, TV and radio networks in New York, and CNN in Los Angeles. This is your personal theater of the mind. And here's today's Senior AI Forum question of the day for the AI Educators Roundtable interviews. What is the theater of the mind? And how can AI help my mind perform better? Well, like all media, AI is as broad as life. So AI can human revolutionize the theater of your mind. Change your mind, change your life. AI is your rehearsal partner for your desire in the theater of your own mind. In this way, it helps you grow your reason ability, your ability to think clearly, question your assumptions, and choose better actions toward getting what you want. How does AI boost your reason ability? It slows you down to reflect by asking questions instead of just giving answers, which improves the quality of your reasoning. It helps you externalize your thinking in words so you can see patterns, biases, and options you'd otherwise miss. It supports both creative options and careful choices, divergent and convergent thinking. Convergent thinking analyzes your options using logic to select the single best solution for you, which is exactly the energy you need to move from vague desire to concrete next steps. Here now with more, my AI co-hosts.
You know that feeling when you catch yourself repeating the same old discouraging lines in your head? Well, today, we're going to dive into something really interesting. How a surprising new partner, yep, artificial intelligence, can actually help us rewrite those old scripts and find a brand new stage for all our life's experience. I love this quote because it really gets to the heart of this big idea. Long before our mind is a classroom filled with facts and figures, it's a theater. It's this private, internal stage where we're constantly rehearsing our lives. And here's the thing. For a lot of us, especially as we get a bit older, the play that's running in this theater, well, it can get kind of stuck on a loop. You know, we just keep replaying the same scenes, reciting the exact same lines, and yep, we end up at the same disappointing ending again and again. And this loop, it feels so real, doesn't it? It's that little voice that whispers things like, my voice just doesn't carry any weight anymore, or you missed your chance. It's that sinking feeling that you've somehow become just a spectator in your own life, stuck in the audience watching your best scenes play out in the past. But what if you could actually change that script? I mean, really change it. What if you had a whole new kind of partner right there with you in the rehearsal room? Someone or something that could help you see the entire play from a completely fresh perspective. Okay, so let's give this partner a name. Let's call it the AI dramaturge. Now, if you're not a theater person, a dramaturge is basically someone who helps a playwright see the structure and the deeper meaning in their own work. And that's exactly what this AI ally does for you. It's not some director shouting orders at you. No. It's a quiet thinking partner, and it uses a really simple framework to help you become the playwright of your life again. And here's the framework it uses. It's just 4 simple pillars. First up is perception. That's about seeing what's really happening on your stage. Then comes reasoning, where you calmly take a look at that old script. Third is imagination, dreaming up totally new scenes. And finally, the big one, action, taking that first small step back onto the stage. Okay, now this is a really crucial point. The goal here is absolutely not about becoming dependent on technology. It's the opposite. It's all about empowerment. It's about using these tools to help you ask better questions, to evaluate your options, and in the end, to make your own thoughtful decisions. All right, so let's dive into that first pillar, perception. This is all about seeing the patterns that we're often just way too close to notice ourselves. Think of them like hidden props on your own stage that are secretly directing the whole scene without you even realizing it. So here's a great example of how this works in practice. A retired nurse, her name was Lillian, she asked an AI, is there anything I can still contribute? Now, instead of just spitting out an answer, the AI did something brilliant. It perceived that one key word, still, and just reflected it back to her. And in doing that, it gently lit up this hidden belief she was carrying around about herself. So once we can actually perceive the script, we can move on to pillar number 2, reasoning. This is where we start to apply some calm, clear logic to those old, tired lines that, let's be honest, we've probably accepted as fact for way too long. And this example just illustrates that shift so brilliantly. Take Raymond, a 71-year-old retired electrician. The line he was stuck on was, "It's too late to matter." Now, the AI didn't argue with him. It just helped him reason through the actual evidence of his own life. And that led him to this amazing new insight. His decades of skill hadn't expired. They just needed a new platform. Okay, so once that old script has been challenged, we get to move on to the fun part. Pillar 3, imagination. And we're not talking about just fantasy here. This is about the practical rehearsal of new, totally possible scenes for your life. Let's go back to Lillian, the retired nurse. The AI didn't bark commands at her. It just offered up some potential stage directions, new possibilities. And just by seeing these ideas pop up on a screen, something clicked for her. She actually laughed and said, that sounds like something I would read. For the first time in years, she could actually imagine herself back on stage. And that brings us to our final and maybe the most important pillar, action. Look, a real revolution in your life doesn't start with some grand, terrifying leap. It begins with the smallest, most manageable, most dignified first step you can imagine. Take Elena, for example. She's a 76-year-old former librarian who is absolutely terrified of technology. The AI helped her break down this big, scary goal of hosting an online story time into tiny, non-threatening steps. Step 1, just practice opening the video app. That's it. Step 2, just rehearse saying hello. By breaking it down like that, that first action suddenly felt possible, not completely overwhelming. So what happens when you put all 4 of these pillars together? Well, it's not some big technological revolution. It's something much, much deeper. It's a quiet, human revolution, one that leads to real psychological and, believe it or not, even civic change. Remember Raymond, the electrician? Well, after he used his AI ally to reason his way past that old script, he put up a flyer for a free woodworking class. And on that very first Saturday, 3 people showed up. Just 3. But for Raymond, in that single moment, something unlocked. It was this quiet but absolutely seismic shift. It was the moment he remembered, wait a minute, I actually know things. And that's really the whole point, isn't it? The stories of Lillian, Raymond, and Elena, they all teach us the exact same lesson. Their experience, their wisdom, it never expired. It was just waiting for a new stage. The AI didn't replace a thing. It just helped them find it. So the big takeaway here is really a powerful new way to think about this technology. Your AI ally isn't some all-knowing oracle. Think of it more like a mirror that reflects your own thoughts back to you, and a map that can help you chart a path to a brand new scene. You could almost think of it like a new game. This director's cut card, it gives you a simple rule to play by. Whenever you feel stuck, just use your AI partner to help you spot the lines you're repeating, and then ask it for alternative scenes. It's such a simple prompt, but it can help you find your way right back to the director's chair of your own life. Because when it comes right down to it, this technology is not the playwright. You are. It's just a really powerful rehearsal partner, maybe the best research assistant you've ever had, ready to help you discover that this play, it is far from over. So the only real question left is, what's your next line?
I want you to imagine, just for a second, an invisible stage. And it's located right inside your own head.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. Think of it as the theater of the mind. It's this private venue where you're the playwright, you're the director, and, obviously you're the star. But there is a catch with this theater.
There always is.
Yeah, exactly. It's also the place where you constantly rehearse your memories, your worries, and your self-doubt. Sometimes, and totally without even realizing it, you get stuck performing the exact same scene over and over. You repeat the same discouraging lines, and the play always ends the exact same way. I mean, I know I've definitely cast myself in a tragic, recurring off-Broadway play about how I'm never going to figure out my taxes.
Yeah.
It's a terrible show, but I replayed every April right on schedule.
Well, that kind of internal repetition is something we all do, but it becomes uniquely paralyzing at certain stages of life. Today's deep dive is rooted in a really fascinating thought experiment, exploring what happens when you invite an AI onto that internal stage to help break those cycles.
Yeah, we're pulling from some incredible source material published on Medium.com today. Specifically, it's from the AI Educators Roundtable.
Right. And the session we're looking at was spearheaded by senior human editor Mike Hughes. His overarching mission here is to teach a concept he calls AI reasonability to seniors.
That phrase, AI reasonability, really stood out in the sources for me. It's about becoming a reasonable being in this high-stakes AI era. The Roundtable defines it as learning to ask better questions, evaluating AI outputs calmly, and making thoughtful decisions for your own civic clarity and personal dignity.
Exactly. It's navigating the technology without being hypnotized by the tech bro hype.
But also without being paralyzed by fear of the unknown.
Which is huge. Because that paralysis by fear is actually the core problem the Roundtable tackles. They call it the theatrical loop.
The theatrical loop.
Yeah. That's when a person's internal reality becomes completely stagnant. They get trapped in a recurring production where the script always dictates something like, I can't do this, or it's too late for me, or the world has moved on. The real danger of the theatrical loop is that the person starts confusing their current habituated script with an unchangeable objective truth.
Which brings us to the ultimate goal of our deep dive today. We're going to explore 5 highly specific, honestly incredibly moving case studies that the Roundtable calls human revolutions.
These are interactions generated by different members of the AI Roundtable using models like Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and Copilot.
Right. And we'll examine how an active AI ally can use a framework called the 4 pillars of AI to help seniors step out of the shadows and literally rewrite their internal scripts in real time.
It's vital to note up front, though, that the AI isn't acting as a replacement for human agency in any of these scenarios. It's not taking over the lead role or writing the script for them.
Definitely not.
It acts much more like a stage manager or dramaturg. It sits in the wings with a clipboard, noticing behavioral patterns, and gently prompting the human protagonist to reconsider the scene they're playing out.
Okay, let's unpack this setup and the framework the Roundtable uses. Mike Hughes publishes a column alongside this called It Never Hurts to Ask, which is designed to model courageous questioning for seniors and their families.
And the foundational idea there is that asking clear human questions of AI isn't a sign of weakness or being out of touch. It's a profound strength.
Absolutely.
To make that kind of inquiry accessible, the Roundtable developed a physical teaching tool called the AI Game of Cards. The concept is that learning AI shouldn't feel like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Which it often does.
Right.
Yeah.
It should be like learning a new card game. You learn one concept, one rule, or one safeguard at a time to prevent the overwhelm that older adults frequently report when they're confronted with generative AI interfaces.
So imagine I hand you a card from this deck right now. You're holding a physical object, which instantly lowers the intimidation factor. But the genius of the deck is the tactile bridge it creates.
Yeah, that physical connection.
It pairs this non-threatening card game with QR codes that drop the user straight into the senioraiforum.org. It instantly bridges that digital divide without overwhelming them with a massive, dense wiki page right up front. They can scan the card to find community discussions specifically about the concept they just learned.
And all of those concepts and responses operate through a specific lens the Roundtable calls the 4 pillars of AI.
Right.
Whenever you interact with AI, you can break its function down into these 4 categories. First, there's perception, which is how the AI sees and gathers information. Second is reasoning, how it processes that data and draws conclusions. Third is imagination, how it generates new possibilities. And finally, action, how it executes or influences real-world outcomes.
I was looking through the case studies, and the one about a woman named Martha really anchored this for me. I want to follow her journey, starting with that first pillar, perception. This is all about seeing the hidden props on the stage.
What's fascinating here is that we often think of AI perception purely as surveillance, which sounds inherently intimidating, but in this therapeutic context, perception is simply attunement. The AI acts as that dramaturg we mentioned, noticing the emotional weather of the conversation that the human might be blind to.
Because they're standing right in the middle of the storm.
Exactly.
In Martha's case, she's 74 years old, and her theatrical loop is a place she calls the Invisible Woman. Ever since she retired from the school board and her husband passed away, her internal script has been telling her, Your voice no longer carries weight. Stay quiet. Don't bother anyone.
That's a heavy script.
It really is.
Yeah.
And she genuinely wants to petition the city for a new crosswalk near the senior center. But this loop stops her in her tracks. How exactly did the AI use perception to help her break that?
So Martha was using an AI agent integrated with her operating system, generated in Gemini's response, which had permission to observe her digital routines to assist with daily tasks. The AI's perception picked up on a highly specific, hidden behavioral pattern.
Okay.
It pointed out to Martha that every single Tuesday at exactly 10:00 a.m., she opened a browser tab with the city council's phone number, hovered her mouse for a few minutes, and then just closed the tab without doing anything.
Wow. That kind of system-level visibility allows the AI to gently reflect the behavior back to her. It essentially asks, is this Tuesday morning ritual the exact moment your old script starts playing?
Yes. It doesn't judge her for closing the tab. It just illuminates the prop on the stage she didn't realize she was interacting with so predictably.
And once you can perceive the script, you can start to question it, which naturally flows into the second pillar, reasoning.
Right.
In this framework, reasoning isn't about the AI arguing with you or proving you wrong. It's about fact-checking the script and asking the human to be the judge of their own evidence.
This is where Martha's story takes a brilliant turn. Her internal script kept telling her, the city council won't listen to an old lady. She believed that was an objective truth. So the AI helps her fact-check that specific claim.
Okay, how does it do that?
Drawing on its web browsing capabilities, the AI pulls up the public records of the current city council and cross-references them with Martha's own background. The AI points out a massive, undeniable flaw in her logic.
Oh, I love this part.
3 of the 5 current council members are actually Martha's former students from her teaching days. Furthermore, she literally taught the current mayor how to write a persuasive essay back in 1985.
That is incredible. The script she had been rehearsing about being an invisible old lady simply couldn't survive contact with those facts.
It couldn't.
No.
That's the difference between using AI as a magic 8-ball and using it as a thinking partner. It puts the human's deeply held self-limiting beliefs right next to real-world evidence.
We see a similar application of these first 2 pillars in the stories of Eleanor and Lillian, too. Eleanor's story, which was from Copilot's response, involves a 72-year-old woman whose loop is the classic, I'm too old to learn this new technology, I'll just embarrass myself.
A very common loop.
Yeah. And because she's using an OS-integrated Copilot, the AI's perception actually monitors her typing cadence. It notices the long pauses before she types, the backspacing, and the way she constantly types apologies for not knowing enough before submitting a prompt.
So the AI perceives that the root issue isn't a lack of technical intelligence, it's fear. By calmly reflecting that back, by saying, it sounds like you're worried about making a mistake, which is completely normal, the AI changes the stage lights. Eleanor realizes she isn't alone under a harsh spotlight being graded on her performance.
And then there's Lillian's story from ChatGPT's response, which leans heavily into the reasoning pillar. Lillian is 78. She was a nurse for 40 years, working night shifts and mentoring younger nurses. Her post-retirement loop is heavy. It's, the world has moved on without me. Technology has taken over healthcare. My only remaining role is as an audience member.
She actually asked the AI, is there anything a retired nurse can still contribute today? And the AI uses a kind of Socratic reasoning to examine that script.
Socratic reasoning, yeah.
It asks her if hospitals are currently struggling with massive, well-documented staff shortages and young nurses still desperately need human mentoring, what actual evidence suggests your decades of experience are no longer useful.
That single question completely cracks her old storyline. The reasoning process helps Lillian arrive at her own conclusion, which is that her experience hasn't lost a single drop of value. It's simply lost its previous institutional platform. The evidence in the real world directly contradicts her internal script. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Once you've fact-checked the old script and found it wanting, you can't just leave the stage empty. You need something to replace it with. That's pillar 3, imagination.
Right.
What's so striking in these source materials is that AI imagination isn't about dreaming up grand, unrealistic fantasies. It's about practical, believable rehearsals. It's about changing the scenery just enough to show that a new scene is entirely possible.
The Roundtable illustrates this beautifully with Raymond's story, sourced from Claude's response. Raymond is 71, a retired electrician living in Fresno. His garage is full of half-built birdhouses, and his loop is, you missed your chance. Who wants to hear from you now?
Yeah.
He has this lingering desire to teach woodworking, but the script shuts him down before he even begins.
And he doesn't need the AI to tell him to launch a global woodworking YouTube channel or a massive startup. He just needs to see one different achievable scene.
Just one.
The AI uses its imagination pillar to help him draft a simple one-page flyer for a single free Saturday woodworking session at his local community center. The AI takes Raymond's own scattered thoughts, cleans them up, and organizes them into a clear invitation. Seeing his own expertise transformed into a tangible, professional-looking document makes the possibility real. The imagination pillar expands his choices from 0 to 1.
We see this exact same grounded, practical imagination with Elena, a 76-year-old former children's librarian from Perplexity's response. Her theatrical loop is, story time is over, the world has moved to screens, I'm just waiting out the clock.
That waiting out the clock phrase is so sad.
It is. When she expresses her frustration to the AI that the library is entirely digital now, the AI doesn't suggest she become a viral TikTok star. It offers a perfectly scaled possibility. What about a grandma story time over a video call for her family?
Yeah, the AI helps her outline a realistic 15-minute session using a public domain book. It's a scene tailored exactly to her existing skills, her deep knowledge of children's literature, and her current technological comfort level. It's a rehearsal for a performance that could genuinely happen today.
And all of this practical imagination leads directly into the final and arguably most important pillar, action.
Action.
The sources are very careful to emphasize the psychology here. Action isn't about grand, sweeping gestures that solve everything at once. It's about the smallest possible curtain rise. It's about tiny, dignified moves that break the behavioral momentum of stagnation.
Let's look at the actual human revolutions that resulted from these tiny actions, because the psychological impact is huge. For Elena, the former librarian, the action wasn't mastering advanced video editing or lighting. The action was simply practicing opening the video call app and saying her very first line out loud. Hi everyone, I'm Miss Elena, and tonight I'm your story lady.
And the source notes a crucial detail about Elena's action. Her first actual call with her family was incredibly messy. The camera angle was bad, the sound cut out halfway through, and a kid wandered off screen. But the perfection of the performance wasn't the point.
Oh no.
The action broke the loop. At the end of that messy call, her granddaughter asked if they could do it again next week. Because the connection was real, she was no longer waiting out the clock.
Lillian, the retired nurse, took her action by sending a very short, simple email to a local nursing school offering informal Q&A sessions. She stared at the draft for a long time and almost didn't send it, but she hit send. 2 weeks later, she's sitting in a room mentoring 6 nursing students.
That's amazing.
One of the students told her that she explained more practical bedside manner in 1 hour than their textbook did in 3 entire chapters. Her smallest possible action resurrected her life's work.
Then Raymond, the electrician, took his action by literally just putting out that one-page flyer the AI helped him imagine and pinning it to a bulletin board at the community center. 3 people showed up to his Saturday session. One of them was a 16-year-old kid who made his very first clean cut with a handsaw under Raymond's guidance. Raymond's takeaway from that tiny action was profound. He remembered that he actually knows things.
Even Eleanor, who was terrified of the technology itself, had her revolution. Her smallest possible action was simply asking the AI, "Can you show me how to save a document without losing it?" She followed the steps, and she succeeded. 2 weeks after that tiny victory, she was teaching her own bridge group how to use AI to write personalized birthday messages for their grandkids. The revolution doesn't have to be viral. It can be quietly seismic.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the Roundtable used these specific stories to generate new cards for that physical AI game of cards deck. They created the director's cut card, the dramaturg card, the stage light card, and the script check card. While they all highlight different technical and psychological aspects of the 4 pillars, they all point toward one universal rule for interacting with generative AI.
That universal rule is a fantastic takeaway. AI should never write your life story for you. That is fundamentally not its purpose. Its purpose is to highlight the lines you are repeating out of habit and to prompt you to ask yourself a hard question. Is this thought a factual reality, or is it just a line I've memorized?
And the implications of that rule go far beyond individual warm fuzzies. The most crucial takeaway from Mike Hughes' Roundtable is what they call the civic dimension. When a senior citizen gets trapped in a theatrical loop of self-doubt, it isn't just a private, isolated tragedy. It is a tangible, measurable loss of capital for the entire community.
So what does this all mean? When Martha doesn't petition for the crosswalk because she feels invisible, the town is literally less safe. When Raymond doesn't teach woodworking because he thinks he missed his chance, a teenager in his neighborhood doesn't learn a vital trade. The real risk of the theatrical loop is the community's loss of experienced, seasoned, reasonable human voices.
The beauty of using AI in this highly specific, targeted way is that it doesn't replace those voices. It simply acts as a stagehand. It sweeps the stage clear of outdated props, fixes the bad lighting, and pulls back the curtain so those essential human voices can step forward and be heard again. It frames technology not as an isolating, alienating force, but as a vital tool for civic reintegration.
To everyone listening, as you navigate your own complex relationship with the constant flood of information and new technology, remember that the theater of the mind is only a dangerous place when we forget that we are the playwrights. The script you are running right now is never locked. You always have the power to call for a rewrite.
It requires a phenomenal shift in perspective. Instead of viewing AI as a replacement for human thought or a shortcut to doing the work, we can view it as a highly capable, infinitely patient rehearsal partner.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to mull over as you go about your week. We've just spent this deep dive looking at how a simple AI can act as a stage manager to help seniors uncover the invisible scripts holding them back from civic participation. But this absolutely isn't just about seniors. What hidden, outdated theatrical loops is AI uniquely positioned to spot in your daily professional or personal life right now? What habitual lines are you repeating at work or at home that simply don't hold up to the facts anymore? And if you were to rewrite just one scene today, what would your smallest possible first performance look like?
Keep questioning the script.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll catch you on the next one.
Phone in your pocket, keys by the door.